what's up? Alright. It's Denny back again with another segment on some wacky builds I've done over the years with the Tamiya Bruiser. Okay? Now, this here is a homemade Truggy. I bought a frame on eBay a long time ago. The body itself actually is the one I casted, and I made it out of fiberglass actually. And I used the aftermarket Wraith axles. I actually casted the grill, and I bought these online, the bumpers and all that stuff. They're a little loose for a reason. So, as you can see, I bought the Hot Racing from Bizarre Hobbies. I got the Vanquish links, they're all titanium, and I just bolted it with a plate to the bottom of the Bruiser frame. Very simple. You can see it over here. Get a close up on it right here. A little simple aluminum plate, just bolted together, and actually made a little Truggy roll bar too. Threw the electronics in the back just for shits and giggles. They see the body's all bashed up and bent and everything. That's the way it came out of the mold, which I thought was kind of cool. But one thing I wanted to get to tonight was how I got this far from the original Bruiser that came out in 1985. Okay, take this off. As you can see, it's all handmade, beat up. It is what it is. Now, as you can see, I actually used even the 15 turn motor and everything from the Wraith. I got like all kinds of stuff. Well, actually, I think I had a 20 turn. I'm not sure, but like I bought a Wraith tranny online. You know, you can get everything on eBay. Okay, and like I say, there's so many aftermarket parts that are available today. It actually makes it worth upgrading. Back in like when I first bought, for instance, this Bruiser here. Okay, eBay wasn't even around back then, for one thing. And over the years, I bought many frames and many parts to make shelf queens, but why? Because they were built to be bashed. And there's still many parts out there, and they were only original one time. So if you want to make one shelf queen and brag to your friends about it and put it in the trophy chest, that's cool. But the rest of them, take them out and enjoy them. Now, at the time, back then, the buggies were coming out. So there was a buggy called the Kyosho Burns, okay, which is probably the sickest thing that hit the, nitro world at the time. So what I did was I used the original Bruiser axles, and I took a 3/8 drill. Okay, this is an air drill out of a body shop, and I cut the thing off, and I used a planetary gear system. So the handle would be back here, okay, and this would be your spline for your air, propeller, and it goes into the planetary system. It comes out, and the chuck would come out here. But what I did was I made a transfer case, okay, so with just some one-to-one gears that would come out of this to the rear to the front. Very simple, 3 gears, bang, 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 and I made a housing, and I put a clutch in there, okay, and I had a 25 Super Tiger on here that was retarded fast with this Bruiser. It was just as fast as the Kyosho Burns. It was, back then we didn't have the luxury of having an iPhone or HD quickie camera. You can say, hey, I'm gonna do a video and put it on YouTube, because none of that stuff is around. Now, as you can see here, this is part of a clamp, probably off an antenna I got at the hardware store. And this plate here, I actually cut it apart, was the original plate in the front here. You see, it actually bolts into the rails on the side. I just cut it out because we didn't have a pull start back then. All we had was a cone start. So you had to break out the cone starter, put it on your battery of your car, fire your thing up and rock it. But this thing actually sets in the original Bruiser frame to a T. And this here goes through the back of your transmission on the Bruiser head, like 2 pins that actually went through the cross member down underneath. And so I thought about doing something really stupid. Okay, being I've got on like the Sen GST-E and the Sen GST-77 kit, I got me a Sen GST-77 motor. Now, if anybody knows, he's like 5 horsepower compared to the, I think it was the 2.5s and the 3.5s that we had on the 21 racing motors. Okay, but if you look at the motor mounts on this thing, not the big one underneath, this will actually fit my original, early 90s hacked up hand built transmission. So the problem is the clutch. The clutch sizes are way off because the 5 horse needs a bigger clutch. So I'm going to work on this for a little bit. It's food for thought. And being that there's like so many indestructible axles out now, and this transmission is seriously indestructible. There's not gonna be a problem with this at all. So the problem is there's gonna be drive shafts and tires. Now, one thing, as you can see, I got the G Air tires. I made my own bead locks. I did a segment on that. And these are the TSL Super Swampers, and there's no foams in them, they're just air on the G Air rims, right? So I went out and I bought the pit bulls. Okay, I finally found a set of pit bulls, and I mounted them on the G Air rims. Okay, you see it's got the little air in there. Okay, I've got 40 pumps inside this thing to make it like a size 44 tire for an off-road vehicle. So when you set them up compared, okay, you see how much taller this one is because it's got way more air in it. And these here are a little sloppy, they're small. And but the problem with the G Airs is when you give them like stupid instantaneous horsepower, they turn into pizzas, okay, and they blow right off the rims. They will actually they just stretch apart. However, you will get some sudden, insane speed out of whatever you're doing. And if you can catch it on camera, that would be funny. I would like to see somebody try to do it, because I've tried to do it myself, and it just cannot happen. But I got videos posted of me blowing these right off the bead locks. And I've blown these off several times. That's why I come up with the steel ones on here. And I've never really quite put that much horsepower back in them again. But they do swell like pizzas. And the other bruiser I had made, I ran the Sen GST-E motor and tranny in the thing. Then I upgraded the motor from what was it, the 2000 kV or whatever it was, to a 2260 Red Cat racing motor. And it's pretty sick. It is way overpowered. That's how that bead lock disappeared on this thing, and I had to actually change them back to my Dick Seatback wheels and from RC four-wheel drive, and they still swell up, and I was afraid they were going to come off too. But so, like I say, the Bruisers are timeless, and when you got a box of stuff like this and all the stuff's available out there, I mean, if you want to put them on a shelf, that's up to you. But if you want to take all your junk you got, or if you got an idea in your head what you wanted to make, like this Truggy. I wanted to make a simple Truggy, and I liked the stance of the Wraith, and the reliability of it was pretty good. So I just bought some simple pieces online, and yeah, do I have the same money that I could have got at a deal with A-Main Hobbies or RC four-wheel drive or any other sites that are out there that I bought from, like RPP Hobbies, all that stuff? I may have the same money in it, but it's unique now. It's one of one. There's not 10,000 million of these out there that everybody's trying to compete with. Something different. This crawls very nice. It doesn't roll over as easy as the Wraith does, even though it's top heavy. But it still has the speed of the Wraith, because actually I took the Viterra Twin Hammers motor and put it in here because I wanted more speed and less crawl, because I like to go sloppy mudding. And if you guys are familiar with the Redneck Yacht Club down in Florida, these guys, they blow through mud holes like no problem. And the more you blow through it, the deeper the hole gets, and you need more horsepower to get through it. And it gets messy and muddy, and it's fun. And they're like, it's just like driving a real thing through the mud hole. If you like crawling, then you change your motor and your gearing, and you go back to crawling again. You can make this thing from anything from one end of the spectrum to the other, because the imagination is endless if you just need to do what you want to do. So, anyway, that was my segment for tonight. Kind of like getting on my soapbox and preaching a little bit to you guys to, show me what you got, show me what you can do. If you got some broken stuff laying around me, all my broken stuff was probably from the 80s, which was a lot of letdowns back in the day, and you can't use that stuff. It was all plastic, where the Bruiser was all metal. And a lot of stuff today is all metal. And even the plastic stuff, you can still, it takes a good beating, because it's not the formula of plastics they used back then. It's, now it's all reinforced with fiberglass resins, and, they've actually come up with their own plastics now. And so it's like, we've come a long way with our technology. But, like I say, I'm still thinking into this right here to make a stupid Bruiser. But we'll see how it works. I'm going to do a lot of thinking about it. I'll probably do a little testing, and I'll keep you guys posted on if it comes about or not, because it would be cool to put 5 horsepower in something that small and have something that will actually put it to the ground. And the way that I've been testing these brushless motors, like I say, my other Bruiser there that has the Sen drivetrain in it, I used the Vanquish Axles, and I used all the stock basic RC 4-wheel drive stuff, from the XCR's 10 or whatever it was, and I could actually widen the axles, because the Vanquish axles come in pieces, and you have the ability to make them wider, thinner, and it all depends on, you just get on your local website with your hobby store, and you buy 2 sets of this and 2 sets of that. And I do a lot on eBay, because there's so much of it out there. And so if I wanted to make these even wider, I could do that. And I'd have a center pumpkin, not an offset, because I could actually buy a longer tube on the Vanquish axles and make it out here and put the pumpkin in the center. You see, there's so many different versions of what you want to do. It just depends on what you want to do. Now, if you go visit Bizarre Hobbies, okay, they have some really, really cool, we're talking nice upgrades, and they're all affordable to us, and they're not, they don't hold them hostage, I'll put it that way. They put them out there for sale, and like I say, these drive shafts here I bought, actually to put on my other Bruiser that I put the RC 4-wheel drive V8 in, but they were so nice, I did not want to cut them. Usually I cut and custom make my drive shafts, but I said, you know what, I'll put them on this, because it has everything here for the Wraith, and it works very well, and it's indestructible. So I'm happy with what I got, and it has a nice classy look to it, and like I say, you can do whatever you want. So like, share, subscribe again, guys, and haven't put out a video in a while, but I'm back on it again, so have a good one. Adios.